Yo, what is up everybody? It's Connor from Unscripted, back again with another video. In today's video, we will be recapping CDL Stage 2, Week 2, Day 3, and as always, we will be doing it off the script. So it's good to see you guys again. I know you have not heard from me for a while. I had a busy week where I wasn't home much. Thankfully, I am done with that now, and I am back to my routine, so you can expect to see daily or almost daily uploads from me. Again, moving forward, I miss making the videos, and it's good to be back talking about some CDL. So before we jump into the recap, don't forget to drop a like on the video if you enjoy the recap. Leave a comment down below in the comment section with your thoughts on today's matches, and subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying the content and looking for more. So let's hop right into it. Here you see on your screen, you see the standings, which we will revisit again at the end of the video, but this is what it looks like right now. And kicking things off today was the New York Subliners versus the London Royal Ravens in a series that was won by the New York Subliners 3-1. New York was a team that I was a little bit lower on coming into Stage 2 with like the meta changes, and just I kind of thought they overperformed a bit in Stage 1. I thought maybe they would be in for a down stage in Stage 2. But so far, so good for them. They're playing pretty well. I think they're 3-1. I can just go back and check the standings right now. Yeah, 3-1, so they're looking solid for sure. Good plays from them all around. And this series against London was a good one. Here are the series statistics. So I mean, just in the slaying department, nothing, really standing out. New York was actually outslayed in the series. Clayster led the way with damage. That's expected from the main AR. He played well for the most part, but just nothing crazy in the slaying department. They weren't outslaying London like crazily, but mostly that was because of Paul X, who had a really big series. He continues to play well for London in his debut stage, if you want to call it that. So good plays from him for sure. Leader of damage, leader of KD, all of that in the series. So good stuff for him, but his team, you see on your screen, didn't really bring it with him. He was kind of left out to dry in the slaying department, and they just couldn't keep up as a team. So kicked off with a hard point on Checkmate, a good map for New York. A little bit surprise result coming later, but for now they win this Checkmate here, or they win this Checkmate hard point. Clay leading the way for them. Dylan Codd had a really good game on the side of the London Royal Ravens, but it was not enough, as you see. Paul had a good series, but he didn't have a good game here. 0.56, that's yucky. But Dylan played well, Clay played well, New York able to get the job done, moving into the Express Search and Destroy. Now this is interesting because London led this map 5-1 before losing 5 straight rounds and ultimately falling. You see there Paul 13-7, and you see what he got from his teammates. He had 14 combined kills from his 3 teammates. He almost outslayed his teammates by himself. Meanwhile, on the New York side, everybody even or positive. Clay played well. Everybody played well for New York. They clutched up and they brought those rounds back. It was unfortunate. London really wasted Paul's streaks. He had cruise missile and artillery and didn't get anything out of either of them. So it's not an easy map to use your streaks on, but you probably could have gotten more use out of them than what they did. So that was a little bit of a disappointment. They should have won that map, but they didn't. Going into Control Checkmate, a map that New York is pretty solid on. You probably thought this would not be a good map for London, but they actually were able to clutch up and win it. And if I'm not mistaken, there were a couple offensive round ones. I feel like there were 2 offensive rounds won in this, and there was, a couple more later on in the other game. So it was good to see Checkmate having a little bit more parity, with the offense actually being able to win some sides, because usually you don't see that. Usually it's defensive heavy map. So that was good to see. Paul leading the way again, almost 8,000 damage. He went off in this map. 41 kills, 1.64 KD, really leading his team to victory in this one. Zed played pretty well as well. Those 2 guys were not on the team to start the season. And now you could say they are playing as London's best 2 players. So it's good to see that from the young guys. We'll see if Dylan and Shawnee, the vets, can step up and get this team moving. They are, they've been, I think they have 2 wins. Yeah, they're 2-1. So they had 0 wins all last stage. So, I mean, what can you say? They're doing better for sure. And if they can get a little more consistency from Dylan and Shawnee, they'll be right there in their group. No doubt about that. And then they ultimately would fall in the Garrison hardpoint. 250-230 to wrap up the series. Dylan led the way again in this one. Paul, 0.56 again. So is that both? Wait. Well, I think I was on the wrong checkmate earlier. I was. Okay. Yeah, I was on the wrong hard point earlier. So this was the hard point game 4 on Moscow. That's the one where Paul struggled in. On the checkmate one, he played better. Him and Shawnee both led the way for London. They actually outslayed New York in that one before falling in the game. And then in this one, they were outslayed by New York, and they lost. So sorry about that. I got that mixed up, but that is the stats from that series. Moving right along, we have Atlanta FaZe versus the LA Thieves. This series was, as usual, with Atlanta dominant. I mean, look at the KDs. This is just awful. 1.52 for Archie's, 1.68 for BZ, 1.53 for Celium, and 0.98 for Simp. So if you're getting outslayed that badly in a series, you will not win. As you see on the LA Thieves side, I mean, just ugly. 0.71, 0.63, 0.86, and 0.65. You will not win maps with statistics that lopsided from the series. The Garrison hardpoint had to be played 3 times because Celium had computer issues twice, and Atlanta dominated all 3 of them. They were up big both times that he had issues with his game, so it's not like they were getting screwed or anything like that. They were just dominating. You see the stats on your screen, they speak for themselves. The BZ, Simp, everybody played well for Atlanta, and pretty much nobody played well for LA Thieves, especially Kenny. That stands out. That's a really good map for Phase 2. They seem really good on Garrison hardpoint, so it is what it is. They're just a good team. Raid, Search, and Destroy. LA Thieves were up either 2-0 or 3-0. They definitely were up 2-0 before just getting ran through as the map progressed. It seemed like every round towards the end of the map, they were down 2 guys every time. They started off getting first blooded twice, 4-2, man advantage for FaZe every map or every round it seemed like, and they just couldn't overcome it on the side of the LA Thieves. Kenny, he started off hot. I think he was 5-0 before finishing 8-6, so he slowed down then. Nobody else played well, just domination. And then this checkmate control was really ugly. So in 3 rounds, LA Thieves were outslayed by 26 kills. You see RCD's finished with a 2.45 KD. I think in the last round on defense, Atlanta got the last kill when they still had 16 lives left. They assassinated Venom for the round-ending kill cam. So, yeah, I mean, what's there to say? Look at that. Just 1,700 damage for TJ Halley, 0.45 KD in a map. Just awful, awful stuff from the LA Thieves. They are spiraling right now downward, and it's not looking good for them. They are 1-3. They are a lock, I guess, actually, for the losers bracket in the next major. So that's not good after a pretty strong stage 1 from them. And they made that roster change with Temp going out for Venom, and that did not prove to be a good move so far. But it is what it is. They're going to have to make a run through losers bracket if they want to make some noise at the major. And then finally, the Toronto Ultra actually won against the LA Guerrillas 3-2 in this series. Insight leading the way for Toronto once again, proving that maybe that move, signing him to replace Methods, was not a bad decision after all. He's been playing pretty well so far. Led his team again this series. On the side of LAG, it was Silly who played the best, or at least had the best stats across the course of the series. But, I mean, each of them had their moments, but none of them really, dominated or anything. I mean, as you can see, like I said, Silly played well, but beyond that, it wasn't anything crazy. They're just all, that's kind of how LAG is, you know. They're consistently solid. They're not going to blow you away in the slating department, but they're not going to, they're not slump. They're not chumps either. They're fine. That's just how I describe them. They're fine. And you see it here. I mean, nobody stood out one way or another. They were just they got outslayed by 7 kills, so about what you expect from a team not the best in respawns. They lose the checkmate hardpoint. All 4 negative there. Like I said, it's not a team that's dominant in the respawns. They don't have the slang ability, so not a big surprise to see all 4 of them negative on this hardpoint. Bance and Insight led the way for Toronto. Good to see Bance get going. I know a lot of people said he's the one that should have been dropped or benched, and they should have made a roster change some other way, but he pulled his own weight in this series, so that's good to see from him. I like Bance. I always have, so I'm glad to see he got going on this map. Now on the Express Search, LAG came out and they played pretty well, 1-6-2. Everybody played well for them aside from Apathy. Assault and Silly led the way on this one. On the side of Toronto, I mean, I guess Cammy's a standout guy, 2-8. Cammy was their best player in Stage 1 for sure. He was probably a top 10 player in the whole league. Hasn't been as hot so far to start Stage 2. I honestly think Insight has probably been their best player, so whatever you want to say about that, though. But Cammy, you know, he's fine. I'm sure he'll still be in that top 15 to 20 player range, even when he's not playing at his best. And then I think Checkmate Control, we saw more offensive round wins, so great stuff there. LAG clearly led the slaying department in this one, so not the best sign from Toronto to be getting outslayed by, 13 kills against a team who's not really known, 14 kills by a team who's not really known for their slaying abilities. LAG came out and made quick work of them on this Checkmate Control to take the 2-1 lead in the series. On the Raid Hardpoint, this was a pretty good game. 250 to 230 back and forth game, close game, could have went either way, but Toronto ultimately came out on top. It's kind of interesting to me. You look at this series and you think, oh, it was a 3-2. It must have been a really close series, but look at the games. Hardpoint wasn't close, the first one. The Search wasn't close. Control wasn't close. This Hardpoint was close, and then the last Search was not close, as we'll get to here in a second. So interesting there, and you know, nothing crazy about this map. Just it's Raid Hardpoint. It's going to be somewhat close most times. They're professionals. They love the map. They play it well, and it usually leads to some pretty close and competitive games. And then finally, the Raid Search and Destroy, which is all Toronto. They are very good on this map. I don't know that they've lost on this map. Maybe they have once. I know they beat FaZe on this map. Very, very good team on Raid Search and Destroy. You see Insight there, 10-1. Talk about leading the way for his team in this one. on the LAG side. You know, they're a good search and destroy team as well, and they have been solid on raid too. So disappointing for them. I mean, outslayed by 16 kills over 6 rounds in search. Yeah, do you do the math? You're never going to win anything with that bad of slaying numbers in a search and destroy. So overall, that brings these teams to LAG, I believe, falls to 0-3. Sorry if you hear my mouse in the background there. Yeah, LAG falls to 0-3. They will be locked into the losers bracket for the next major after sneaking their way into the winners bracket in the last major. And the Ultra improved to 1-2. They still do have a chance to get into the winners bracket. It would have to be as the 3. They'd have to get past London, which they could, you know, depending how the rest of the matches play out, they could find their way into the winners bracket. And that's how the standings look right now. So we actually didn't have any Group B action today. We had all of the Group A teams playing. I guess tomorrow will be all Group B. I think tomorrow we have Dallas versus Minnesota, Seattle versus Paris, and Optic versus Florida. Yeah, that's how it goes. So yeah, tomorrow we have all Group B, so we'll get to see more of that action play out. Good stuff so far. I'm enjoying the content. I hope you are too. It's been some good matches, and it kind of seems to me like right now, like it's Atlanta FaZe here, Dallas Empire here, everybody else down here. I mean, Optic blown out by the new Minnesota, Seattle winning maps and series, London winning series. I mean, the LA team's looking like they are slackers right now after being pretty, you know, top 6 teams in stage 1. So that's kind of interesting. There's a lot of parity in the league right now. Like I said, it's FaZe and then Dallas and then it's everybody else, you know. Literally 3 through 12 are all competitive. I mean, it could go either way in a lot of these matches. Obviously, Optic, I think, still can be competitive with Dallas and FaZe. I think New York can be competitive with Dallas and FaZe, but I think that's the way it shakes out right now. It's FaZe, it's Dallas, it's everyone else. So I'm really enjoying that, how it sort of seems like each series it could go either way, and there's always some good action. So I hope you enjoyed the matches and hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on the video. Let me know you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below as well with your thoughts on today's matches. Subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying the content. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the matches today. Hope you had a good day, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.